Breaking news! Something is happening in Baltimore, something that could shake the foundations of the Ravens franchise. Behind the scenes, whispers are turning into conversations, and those conversations, they're getting louder and louder. From trade rumors involving Lamar Jackson to worrying information from league insiders, it seems a storm is brewing. But is it real, or are we being misled? Before we dive in, don't forget to like this post if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you want, comment, "Go Ravens," to show your loyalty and let the world know you're part of the fan base. Once again, national media is stirring the pot, and this time it's not just whispers, it's an all-out suggestion that the Ravens should entertain trading Lamar Jackson. Yes, you heard that right. Despite locking him into a 5-year, $260 million contract in 2023, some insiders and anonymous NFL executives are floating the idea that the Ravens could, and maybe even should, move on from their franchise quarterback. It's absurd, but it's happening. Mike Sando of The Athletic lit the match by speculating that Baltimore's future, not just its season, could hinge on Week 18. He highlights the Ravens' win at Green Bay without Lamar and how Malik Willis looked great for the Packers, subtly suggesting that maybe, just maybe, Baltimore could win without its MVP. But let's be honest, Ravens flock, this isn't about Malik Willis or any other backup option. This is about a dangerous narrative being built around the idea that Lamar Jackson is somehow replaceable. The truth? There is not a single version of the Baltimore Ravens that is better without Lamar Jackson than with him. And yet, this chatter keeps gaining traction. From discussions about Jackson's injuries this season, to his massive cap hits looming in 2026 and 2027, to complaints about him not having an agent, anonymous voices are spinning a tale of inconvenience, misalignment, and eventually, justification for an exit. One agent even dared to claim that trading Lamar for 3 first-round picks and Malik Willis could be the way forward. That's right, Malik Willis, a player with just 3 starts in 2 seasons, being positioned as the future of a team built on playoff contention and Super Bowl expectations. It's not just disrespectful, it's reckless. The arguments range from Jackson being difficult to work with because he negotiates his own contracts, to inconsistent performance due to injuries. Yet, Lamar Jackson's 2019 and projected 2024 seasons rank number 1 and number 2 in EPA per play among quarterbacks since 2019. Let that sink in. He's not just good. At his best, he is elite. And that's the problem for these critics. When Lamar is healthy and used correctly, he makes the Ravens a contender. But now, people are questioning his toughness, his leadership, even his desire. Some are calling for the Ravens to maximize trade value before his cap hits balloon. One anonymous agent, again, without the courage to put their name on it, compared a potential Lamar trade to the Dallas Mavericks moving on from Luka Doncic, saying Jackson might thrive elsewhere with a new lease on life. But let's call this what it really is, a setup. A narrative being built brick by outsiders, ready to explode the moment anything goes wrong in Baltimore. They're looking for the first opportunity to say, "I told you so." They're baiting fans with draft pick dreams and cheaper alternatives, knowing full well what the Ravens become without Lamar Jackson: average. If you're a fan of this team, you know what it's like without a franchise quarterback. You've seen the carousel. You've lived through the mediocrity. Lamar changed that. He brought hope, explosiveness, and identity to a franchise that was too often known for defense only. And now, because of a few down weeks and a shaky offensive line, we're supposed to hit the panic button? Trade him? For what? 3 first-round picks don't run a read option. They don't extend plays. They don't lead fourth-quarter comebacks. And Malik Willis is not walking into M&T Bank Stadium and outperforming a 2-time MVP who built this offense with his own hands and legs. So, let's be real. This isn't about cap hits or agent drama. This is about fear. Fear from other teams. Fear from media members who can't get a source on Lamar because he does things his own way. Fear that Baltimore, with a healthy Lamar and the right game plan, could win it all. Yet here we are, being told to prepare for Malik Willis, to consider J.J. McCarthy as a fresh start, to imagine Lamar in a Dolphins jersey because it's only 47 miles from his high school. Are we really doing this? What would the consequences truly be if the Baltimore Ravens actually considered taking that leap? Let's say, for the sake of argument, that Eric DeCosta and the front office got seduced by the offer. Let's say they took the bait. 3 first-round picks, Malik Willis, and cap space to play with. What happens next? Do you think a fan base that's waited decades for a true franchise quarterback is just going to accept that trade with open arms? Do you think the locker room, built around Lamar's leadership and dynamic presence, would just fall in line and pretend this was the smart move? Because that's the part these analysts don't talk about. This isn't Madden. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. This is about chemistry, culture, and what it means when you take the heart out of a team and try to replace it with logic. Lamar Jackson is the Baltimore Ravens right now. You don't just trade him and hope everything resets. Look at what happened to Indianapolis after Andrew Luck. Look at Carolina post-Cam Newton. Teams who moved on from dynamic quarterbacks thinking they could just plug in the next guy and ride the wave. Where are those teams now? This franchise was reborn the moment Lamar stepped onto that field in 2018. He electrified a stagnant offense, carried a limited roster to the playoffs, won an MVP, and helped reshape the image of the team nationally. Since then, have the Ravens had playoff shortcomings? Yes. But were they ever because of Lamar Jackson? Not if you've actually watched the games. The losses came from fumbles at the goal line, dropped passes, broken offensive lines, and bad play calling. Time after time, it was Lamar keeping Baltimore alive in spite of those mistakes, not because of them. But the media? They ignore the details. They see the playoff record and say, well, 1-3. That's not good enough. But when it's time to break down why, they're quiet, or worse, dishonest. And now they're floating names like J.J. McCarthy, Malik Willis, as if either of them could survive behind this offensive line, let alone lead the Ravens into a playoff run. You trade Lamar, and you don't just lose a quarterback, you lose your identity. You lose the locker room. You lose the very thing that makes Baltimore competitive every single year. And don't think for a second the rest of the NFL wouldn't notice. Teams like the Dolphins, Vikings, and even the Falcons would line up in seconds to give Lamar a fresh start. You want to see Lamar with Justin Jefferson? With Tyreek Hill? With Bijan Robinson? The rest of the league wants the Ravens to make this mistake. They're praying for it, because they know something Baltimore seems to be forgetting. Lamar Jackson, even at 80%, is still better than most quarterbacks in this league at 100%. He's already shown that. And if Baltimore does something reckless, if they trade him based on media noise, if they chase the illusion of cap space and draft picks, it's not just a bad move. It's a legacy-destroying decision. And what does it say about loyalty? What does it say about trust? Lamar took a huge risk representing himself. He got the deal done. He bet on himself, and he won. So now, after delivering again and again, this is how we reward him? Trade talks and whispers about replacements? Ravens fans, we're better than that. Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh are not just managing a roster, they're shaping the culture. If they give into this narrative, they're sending a clear message to players and fans alike. Loyalty only lasts until the next shiny object appears. And for a franchise that prides itself on integrity, toughness, and building from within, that's a dangerous path to walk. So the real question becomes, what's more valuable? A few unknown draft picks and cap flexibility, or a generational quarterback who already loves this city, who's proven he can win, and who still has his best football ahead of him? Because make no mistake, if Lamar leaves, he's going to win. And if that happens somewhere else, Baltimore won't just be watching a former MVP thrive. They'll be haunted by the mistake of letting him go. But maybe this is what it takes. Maybe Lamar hears all of this noise, all of the doubters, all of the people saying Malik Willis or J.J. McCarthy can replace him, and he uses it. Maybe this is the moment he locks in like never before, marches into Week 18 with a point to prove, and goes on a playoff run that silences every critic. So I'll ask you again, Ravens flock, if it really came down to it, and the front office was ready to take the bait, would you be okay with a future without Lamar Jackson? Let me know in the comments, and if you're still with us, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and keep it locked in right here for more Ravens news, insight, and passion. There's more on the screen now, so don't miss it.